But I was prepared to do the mindset training, but I'm gonna give what I have to normally prepare for this. So so this all boils down to a person's how they think, how they perceive things, and what this world has wired us up to think, right? As opposed to what's in reality, what we can put in reality. And so I was talking about a week ago, and I asked Sandy, and I'm touching South Africa here, and you guys will understand these aha moments. I asked Sandy, let me ask you a question. What is the income potential out in South Africa? Break it down to me. You guys ran from rand to dollar, and I'm gonna see. I could bring up the chart here.
Okay.
I think Javi's fallen off again. He must keep his leg out the car of the window. Oh, there we go. Javi's back. Where's Javi disappeared to? Okay, so anyway, so Javi was he was busy talking about mindset, and he's just in a bad area. He'll be back on now. There we go. Here's Javi. Let's make him co-host.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go. Go for it. Perfect.
Yeah. So normally I like to do these teachings when I'm home and not on the road doing meetings, but it's okay. So I asked Sandy, how does it work there in South Africa? How does it work there on the financial health? He goes, Javi, the average person makes at least 20,000 rand a month. And I was okay, so explain that to me when it comes to 20,000 rand. And she sent me a chart, and 20,000 rand is $1,100 a month. $1,100. Now, let me get out of this screen and go back on the screen here, 'cause I like to see people's faces. So $1,100 here in the US is a lot, but it's not a lot. And I'm saying to myself, but wait a minute, 20,000 rand a month. For anyone in South Africa, if you think about it, if you're a solid manager, that's $1,500 a week. So you're talking about 2,468. That's 80,000 rand a month as a manager alone in the income bracket in South Africa. So I said, wait a minute, Sandy, why don't people know that they can change the way they're thinking so they can have a multiple stream of income? She goes, Javi, that's how people are wired out here. I said, so wait a minute. Hold on one second. So we could go out there and change people's way of thinking, because whether it's the government, whether it's the media, have people wired 20,000 rand a month, which is $1,100 as a solid manager, the first rank in LifeWave. You can make $1,500 a week. That's 4 people in your organization, 2 left, 2 right, silver kid above on subscription, and help goal manager, being a solid manager. You're making 20,000 rand a week, not a month, a week. So I said, wait a minute. We are going to change the way people think in South Africa. We are going to make them think life is more than what it is. We are going to make them think we are going to be our own economy. We're not going to let anyone else choose our economy, because that's how I think. Okay? I don't like this bozo in office tell me what I'm going to make in my economy. You understand? And I'm going to be like, hey, wait a minute. This is what I need to do to get here. So understand, all you have to do is this to get income potential. I just don't think people believe that this can be possible because how they're wired. How they're wired. Nope, I can only make 20,000 Rand a month, which is $1,100 US money. Chris and some people in his organization has surpassed that because of a way of thinking. Okay? Because of a way of thinking. And our job as leaders is to help people think differently. Because if one can, so can another. And if we can just help people outside, I think you can only make this much money. That's false. That's wrong. Ragini needs, let me go back to the chart. She needs 5,000 Rand, which is equivalent to $277 to get her mother professional care at some type of home or center. 5,000 Rand. So 5,000 Rand as a regular manager, even a director, resolves that problem. How do you go director? You help two managers, you help two people go manager, and you're a director, and you get that income potential, and you put it on repeat mode. I just think that people don't believe they can make more money than they're told to make. So it hit me in the stomach and it hit me in the heart. I said, my God, all these people out there think they only can make this much, the average, when they can actually make this much. It blew my mind. And that's across the board. That's even here in the United States. Okay. But I'm talking about out there in South Africa and other countries, even in euros. I don't understand you. I don't have a chart in euros, but I only have a in South Africa. How people can change their lives if they open their mind to the possibilities and see it on paper. You could talk to somebody to their face turns blue. But if they're not ready to hear the message, they're not ready to hear the message because the way they're wired. And I think if people can see what we have to offer and what they are getting in comparison, they will think, wait a minute. All I have to do is help four people find four people, and I'm a director. Stop it right now. I can make up to $2,500 as a director. I'm good about the Chris. You getting me? Uh-oh, I think I'm frozen. Okay, you're getting me.
No, we can
Okay,
hear you.
and
Yes, yes.
and I'm saying to myself, we have to, it's our duty, it's our obligation to help people understand. George said something that stuck with me like a tattoo. A confused mind always says no. Okay. And like I said, I learn from everybody. Okay. The one thing I have overused experience, but the one thing I have over me experience. And that sucks. A confused mind will always say no. They will always doubt everything you say. Our job is to educate. Educate. Sandy Feast is at the level of surpassing 20 Rand a month because she understands the concept of this business. Chris, how many people out there, if they just only understand by changing just the way they think, the income level potential can go up at least 2 or 3 levels of their life. But they just don't believe, bro. They don't believe because they're wired. They're wired that way. And I believe as a team, we can change the course of the way people think. I saw that chart. That chart changed everything for me. Everything. Okay. Do you know what will happen if you make a sea of directors? A sea of directors of people earning at least, Chris, 40 grand a month as a director or a week? Are you freaking kidding me right now? I'm not even saying you need to go senior presidential director. I'm saying director. Out here in the United States, $2,500 as a solid director a week. A week, 2,500 bucks. That's life-changing money. 40 grand a month is life-changing money for people in South Africa. What what are we doing? What are we not doing to help people understand? You understand? What are we not doing? Can somebody answer?
It's that
We're doing
thermostat.
everything.
Ah,
We're doing everything. That's what I'm saying. We're doing everything. It's that people have to just start listening. You understand? Sandy Feast is 71 years old. I don't mean to put your age out there, but everybody knows that. So that's why I said it. She has seen it and she has surpassed that. Chris has surpassed that. Okay? Because they see the simple things that we need to do to get to there. We have to help people understand, maybe draw it out for them, put that chart next to them. This is what needs to get done for them to say, have that aha moment. Oh, wow, really? Say, we had that talk yesterday, and sometimes when I talk, I don't remember what I say after, because when I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. You may remember some of the stuff that we touched on. You want to share that?
Well, you covered what you've been through, and we spoke of what teachers' average salary. And Chris, you may know better. I thought it's about 30,000 a month, and some of the lower income only earn about 5,000 a month. And then we were talking to Ragni, and Ragni, to get a carer for her mother, which eases up her life completely, would be about another 5,000 Rand a month, which, Harvey, as you said, is about what, $227 or something. And
Right.
and that we spoke about other incomes than that. And I know what my aim is. I'd like, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, I'd like everyone in my team to earn more than our current ministers in the government. And I think Chris can relate to that. That's my aim, Chris.
You're not speaking.
Hey, that's a good target. I'll tell you.
You're not speaking out of turn. You're putting something out there energetically for
Yeah.
to get back. Absolutely, I'm there with you on that one.
So I think, Chris, when we're presenting, and people who are on these presentations that are new to this, they come to these presentations and say, "Who are you? What do you have to offer? And why should I care?" Okay, why should I care? This is why you should care. Okay, and you can say, "I'm just speaking to the South Africans." Averages 20,000 a month. As a manager, you can surpass that as a solid manager every week, solid manager, to make people think and understand. All they see is the rank and the income, but the logic behind it, so they can understand, so the confused mind can finally say, yes, are you kidding me? This is what I have to do to get this? The same way everybody here saw it, because you wasn't confused. But a confused mind will always say no. You understand? What do I have to do to get to there? So we have to somehow help people not change their mind, because they have to want to change, but understand with a little bit of a pivot, their life can change. A little pivot of 2 degrees, a little pivot of 2 degrees, not a big shift, but a 2-degree mindset change can change the course of their life.
no, completely, Harvey. You know what? I agree with you. You know, it all boils down to is what is a person's why. People have forgotten what their whys are. And if I have a look at what this world has been through the last 3 years with this whole pandemic, the way everything has changed, I think everybody got off course and everybody's forgotten what their whys are. I think a lot of people just found themselves in a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? A bit of limbo. People not knowing what direction the world is going. So I think that offset everybody off balance. And I think now that the dust has settled, I think now it's time to start picking up the pieces. And there's a lot of broken people out there. A lot of broken people. A lot of people have lost their businesses. They've retrenched. They've lost their jobs. So we've got to pick up these these birds with broken wings, and we've got to pick them up. And it's one person at a time, having that knock on and that ripple effect, and reminding people what is possible as a human being, as an infinite human being, and just expanding and getting your mind to a place that you've never been to before. So this is like a complete paradigm shift for a lot of people, and it's baby steps. It's baby steps, and it's that income thermostat. You know, it's amazing, people, because it reminds me of the training that Onyx did a month ago, where she spoke about 14,000 hours of programming in school. Because in school, you programmed to lose in a way of programmed, as Robert Kiyosaki says, go to school, get good grades, get a job, and make somebody else rich. Make the corporations, the corporate structures, just keep funneling the money up. That's the way the system has been designed. So now it's up to us to take the people off of that mindset, off of the hamster wheel, get off of the system and say, hey guys, here's a new world of infinite possibilities. And it's painting that dream, showing people that it really is possible, that it really is possible. And I tell you what, you know, where we are right now with the product, the company, I mean, we know what we're sitting on right now. We know. And it's the case of just being able to take like a conduit. You know, sometimes I'm sure you guys can agree with me on the call. Sometimes you feel a bit frustrated. You want to take people and you want to shake them up and say, why can't you see what I see? Why can't you see it? But it goes back to the drip feeding. I want to like plug a conduit into a person's head just for 10 seconds, just to see what I can see. Because if you see that for 10 seconds, you're not going to sleep. You're going to have life wave insomnia, because I know, and a lot of us on this call know where we are going with this, and we are going to be changing so many people's lives, but one person at a time. I was talking to a lady on Saturday, and we tend to want to, you know, us like-minded, like-hearted people want to make a difference in this world. That's why we have come together. Your vibe attracts your tribe, because it's all about frequency. But what we all want to do is make a massive, massive difference. But how do you do that? You do that by first working on yourself, because you cannot give if your glass is empty. So your glass needs to be full first before you are able to give. And there you then change one person's life at a time, because that changing that one person's life has that ripple effect. You know, when you drop a stone in the water, it has a ripple effect. And you've all heard the saying, 7 degrees of separation. That means that we are all so connected that I would be able to have a conversation with the president of the USA. I'll say Donald Trump. We're talking about a real president. But I would be able to communicate with him through 7 people. I am 6.
Six.
6 degrees of separation. I thought it was 7.
Six.
Anyway, so 6 people away, I will be able to have a conversation with Donald Trump. That's how it is. That's how connected we are. Everybody knows everybody. And, you know, it's not about who you know. It's who the person that you know knows. Because you either, when it comes to people, you're either working for somebody, you're either working with somebody, or you're either working through somebody. That's the 3 things. And Javi taught me that, where we're talking about working through the people, working in the depth, which is the most important thing. And how do you do that? Who do you work with? Trust me, the people put their hands up, and they'll let you know who wants to go to the next level. And I just wanted to quickly, before I hand over to Javi, just talking about that income thermostat. So what happens is, because of the years and decades of programming of your self-worth, because you're only going to get paid what your boss or the company you work for believe that you are worth. And then you start to actually believe that that is your self-worth. But we were all born for greatness. It's all about getting right back into the system that has been put in place to basically mentally enslave us. That's the world that we live in. So with your thermostat, what happens is, the moment you earn more than what you think you're worth, say you're in sales, you have a good month, you don't know how to comprehend that. So guess what happens? You then self-sabotage yourself, and you bring your earning back down to a level that you are comfortable with, which is then your comfort zone. You're in your comfort zone. And then the moment you start earning too little and you've got to make ends meet, you've got to pay bills, you're going to get off your ass and you're going to go do some work, because now all of a sudden things are getting a little bit sticky, a little bit hectic. So you do what needs to get done, but you're not going to surpass it, because you're going to stay within that bandwidth of your comfort zone. And that is nobody's fault. That's nobody's fault. That's just the way we've been programmed. And, in this book over here, one of my favorite books, by Mark
Look at
Manson.
this.
I have it too. I have it.
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Beep, right? Amazing book, this. One of the most amazing books. And in chapter 6 or chapter 7, he talks about fault versus responsibility. Fault versus responsibility. Now, yes, you know what? The world has changed. Is it our fault? We went through the pandemic. Is it our fault? No, it's beyond our control, right? But what you can do is control the controllables, which is your immediate surroundings. That's what you can control first, and then you work on it from there. So, talking about fault versus responsibility, you could be driving on the road and you obeying the traffic rules. You stop at the red light, okay? And what you do is you proceed when the traffic light goes green. And guess what happens? Somebody drives into you. They bash into you. All right, now that is pain in the ass. They've just knocked into you. They've driven into your car. Is it your fault? No, it's not your fault. It's the other person's fault. He drove into you. But here's the kicker. Even although it's not your fault, you still need to take responsibility. And that's what we need to do as human beings. We need to take responsibility for our lives, even although there are outside external factors that are not our fault. So you've got to phone the insurance company. You've got to phone the tow truck. You've got to get the car towed in. You've got to take it to the panel beaters. You've got to hire a car. You've got to get the car fixed. Then you've got to go and fetch the car. It has disrupted your life. It was not your fault, but guess what? You still had to take responsibility. We're talking about participate in your own rescue. Participate in your own rescue, which is the most important thing. So yeah, so that's where I'm going with just taking responsibility and plugging in. That is the most important thing. Plugging into the system. Where's Javi?
There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who. I'm unmuted. There are a lot of people who have a funny thing in their head about money, and they are. I just had one from one of my Spanish people. So one of the things that I learned from somebody, and I love it, is just do this. Let it come to you. Let it come to you. Let it come to you. If there people are saying, singing happy birthday to you, people go, oh, no, don't. They sing happy birthday, stick your arms out and let it come to you. I did that on a stage. Somebody said it's George's birthday. There were 600 people in the room. I stood on the stage, put my arms out and just let it come to me instead of hiding. And a lot of people, they need to do that. I think it's a great exercise. I just share it for if it's useful for you. But people do have a funny thing in their head about money. I'm constantly surprised. Somebody said to me, money's not important on Saturday. Really nice young guy. I said, his money's not important to me. I said, yeah, but You need it to do everything you do. It gives you possibilities. And he's open-minded enough to go, yeah, you're right. But yeah, a lot of people have a really strange attitude to money. So it's that we also need to work on. Some people think money's beneath me. So I want health. I want health. I want to help people for health, but I'm not interested in the money, or I actually don't want money. It's a very strange psychology. I'm rambling a bit, but Javi really put it into perspective for South Africa. Somebody with absolutely very, very little work can change their money life and change in South Africa, even though there's a difficult exchange rate, even though this, even though that. I can say this out loud. I've been talking about LifeWave for 9 months now, basically, and thank you, Lord. I've developed an income more than a bank director in this country, and I'm taking it as far as it's going to go. Why? Because the money is a side effect of helping people. I've said this aloud, but I'll say it again because it's worth saying. When I hit 1,000 people in my downline, and when I could see what was going into my wallet, and I at the same time remembered all the stories, great stories that I've heard from those 1,000 people. I haven't talked to every one of them, but there's an endless list of stories that I've seen from those 1,000 people. Then I say, go make a fortune, because the more money you make, the more people you're helping. And it's counterintuitive, but you've got to get that from your head into your heart. With me, it is.
Completely. It reminds me of Zig Ziglar. When people say money's not important, you know what? It's right up there with air. It's right up there with air. It's something that we need to function as human beings, and make a difference in this world. Javi looks like he's frozen. Javi, he's like he's been holding his glasses for about a minute. I was just wondering if he's frozen or he's just holding them still. I think Javi's in a. Oh no, he's in a bad area. He keeps falling off. George, I can totally relate to to what you're saying there. It's everybody's looking for this instant gratification. Everybody thinks we live in a drive-through, breakthrough society, and I don't know where this mindset comes from, where everybody wants to get rich overnight, and that's a fallacy. That's not real. That's not real. Where we are right now, it's all time-based, and it's putting the work in. And I think this is where people have got a bit of a misconception with the concept of network marketing. I was watching a training today by Darren Kidd. I didn't realize that network marketing has been around for 100 years. 100 years. And this is fact. This is from Les Brown. He said that network marketing has made more millionaires than any other industry in the world. If you look at figures wise, I think the NFL is worth about I think it's $8 billion a year. The music industry is worth $15 billion a year. The network marketing industry, $182 billion a year. I mean, that is just absolutely crazy, and this is the way the world is moving. But people have got to change their mindset towards it. It's not called net weight marketing or net sit marketing. It's called network marketing. And there's that four-lettered swear word in the middle there called WORK. And you've just got to put that bit of work in. It's not just going to happen on its own. People come with a mindset thinking, well, they're going to register, talk to one person a month, and things are going to happen. It doesn't work like that. We've got, I'm not going to go through in depth in the training now. There's enough trainings on getting started and following the systems and 331. This Thursday, I'm doing a training called Getting Started with a Bang. getting started with a bang. I'm going to be going in depth leading up to what 331 is, which 331 is created by Onyx Cole, which is the system that we follow. But I'm going to be going a little bit in depth, bridging that gap between, right, you've just started, you registered with LifeWave, where do you start? And, it's all about, we've got a destination point, but you've also got to have your roadmap helping you along your journey. So, if you think about it, you get out of a plane and two people are in an airport, you've got the same destination point. So you go to two different taxis, two different cabs, and you say, right, here's the address that we want to go to. The one person gets into the one taxi cab, the other person gets into the other one. And you both got the same destination point, but you're going to get there at different times. You'll get there at different times. The reason being is because they've taken different routes. So the one might get going through a roadblock, the other one gets stopped at traffic lights, and the other one's got free rides. You might get there half an hour earlier. It's the same with LifeWave. This is not a sprint race. This is a marathon. And we all know what the destination point is. And we're all going to get there at different time frames because what you put in is in direct proportion to what you are going to get out. That's the way the world works.
So we could ask a question, just like we say, who wants to do it? Who wants to take this far? How far do you want to take it? Personally, I want to take it as far as I can take it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's changing I've always been very creative with the money I do. Money allows you to be even more creative. It also allows you to be even more eccentric. That's one of the best definitions of money I ever read. It allows you to develop your eccentricities. So you can be eccentric without money, but you can really develop them with money. So let's ask the question, who wants to make a lot of money here? Besides, who wants to help a lot of people with their health? We understand that, but who wants to make a lot of money here? If you do that, or put your hand up. Great. Aloma, Sandy, Peter, Heather, and if you guys who are not on the visible, stick your hand up or put something in the chat. You can press the hand up. I got a hand up from Joss. Great. I got a hand up from Marina. I got a hand up from Kenneth. And great. Hand up from Joss. So super. And Phil also, she upgraded to diamond. So fantastic for that. Okay. So really, this is useful because, and Lucinda says yes, and Phil says yes, and Gerda says definitely. Okay, I'm looking at the chat as well. So this is very important to be very clear. Yeah, I want to do this. So then you will be persistent and consistent. You will. Mark has an incredible story. Chris has an incredible story. I have a story that I haven't actually said very loudly because I can't hardly believe it. I've been famous for having a cough my whole life. My whole life I've been to endless specialists, and people are saying to me, "You're not coughing anymore." I kind of go, "Yeah, I'm not coughing anymore. Is that real? I'm not coughing anymore. Is that real?" But also, I have a story in that I put 9 months into this, and now I've basically built an $80,000 a year income. And I've just got 9 months in it, not even a full 9 months. And look where it's going to be in a year, in 2 years. As Javi says, just put 2 seasons into this. And there is persistency and consistency, and then people appear in your story. Sometimes you're incredibly lucky, and the second person you know goes, "Wow." Sometimes, you've got to be persistent until you find what Javi calls those blue M&Ms. I was very, very, very persistent to get this guy to pay attention. It took a lot of persistence. And I said to Javi, "I'm going to get Chris," but he was so busy with it or so many other things in his head. And I had to be very artful to get his attention. So if you don't, just because somebody says no to you, so what? just keep going if you believe in them, and if you believe in your story. Mark, I didn't know Mark until somebody else brought him in, and we always say know, like, and trust. It took a little while. Mark and I started meeting, started working together, and now he knows, likes, and trusts me. I believe that, even though he's on the phone, I believe he'd say absolutely. But somebody appears who's going like, wow, I've got this, I understand this, it's touched my heart, it's working in my body, it's working in my friends' bodies. When in my first call with Mark, somebody introduced me to him to help configure the order. And I said, Mark, I don't know if money's important to you, but there's another part of this story. And he said, just one thing, yeah, money is important. But we left it. We didn't talk about it. I didn't talk about it when he came back at me after he'd seen the results. And I wanted you to meet my friend and talk to my friend and help him make a decision with an order. That's when I said to him, Mark, you're doing this, but there is a story here that can also be. So it's like being persistent, being patient. I keep saying this, but if you take persistency and consistency on the one hand, and patience and passion, you can hear I've got passion for this. On the other hand, patience, hugely important. Patience and passion on the other hand. You've got these two things. I mean, they're like two pillars for me. It's not consistency and patience. It's not passion and persistence. It's consistency and persistence and consistency, patience and passion, two pillars. Time will do the rest. Time will do the rest. That's all you need, is to do that every day. There's days where you take a day off. It's normal, but you never know who you're going to bump into on the day you take that day off. You see this thing here? Like my dentist today. I go to her and I say, you know what? You see this thing here? When I go in, I said, that's bioorganic crystals that reactivate my stem cells. And, and she goes, oh, that's interesting. And I tell her a couple of things, but she's doing, but at the end, she does the x-ray. I said, so how are my teeth looking? First, she said, you know what? Your teeth are looking the best that I've seen them. And I've got pretty good teeth, thank you, Lord. I've only got one small filling. And I said, you're the person who's used these patches at the beginning when I went in. The person who's used these patches the most has used them for 3 years. It only came on the market 3 years ago. Her gums have completely restored. So I'd love you to see over the next 2 visits how my gums are doing. And when she did the x-ray, she's going, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, your bone, it's almost looking better than it was 5, 6 years ago. I said, so that's something we can measure. So I told her the story about Tommy, who got out of the wheelchair, off insulin, off oxygen, and his blood tests are all in range. I told her about that. I said, that's stuff we can measure. I'm sending her the videos. I'm sending her what I sent. So you never know who it's going to be. And there are other people who go, oh, okay, so what?
See what, George, it takes me right back to where we talk a lot about telling stories. And I'm glad you touched just now on what you said, where you were like, I want to get Chris into this business, but it wasn't as easy. It's just, hey, Chris, check this out. I had a look and I joined. You had to work hard. Yep, it took anybody that doesn't know, anybody that's on this call, George sent me the first message, but he sent 21 messages before he got my attention. But guess how he got my attention? 2 stories in one voice note that stopped me in my tracks. So that makes me go right back to facts tell. Facts tell, stories sell.
But there's also another thing. There's understanding people's thermostat. We can talk about money thermostat. Some people have a very low money thermostat and they can't believe that they could have $5,000 a month coming in. So they need to work on that thermostat. But there's another thermostat, how much information you can give somebody in the beginning. I measured it. I didn't, I was very clear. I was going to get Chris, but I also knew his level of ability to input information was not such. So it was a rather slow, constant process. I didn't send him stuff every day. If you look back at those messages, it was probably every 3 to 4 days.
Right.
Maybe sometimes there was a couple of days because it was relevant, and maybe sometimes there was more. But I was like, this guy is going to be doing this with me because, you know,
Well, all I can say is thank you. Thank you for your persistence. That's all I can say
no,
is thank you, thank you, thank you.
you.
And
We've
if you,
what we've done with this, we've helped so through with me. I'm going over Chris here, but with me getting Chris, the results for people in through his network and through his connections have been huge, and that's something that, you know, we talk about spiritual health. This gives me spiritual health, this feedback from people who are going, thank you, and I go, thank you, Lord. You know, thank you, Lord, for this having come across my path, and thank you for David Schmidt. But, you know, when people come, you know, this is not through Chris, but a lady here who was on the call, Sandra Villandia, you know, when she tells us she's been lying in prison basically for the last 4 years on her back in a darkened room, and now she can walk around and she doesn't need a walker, and she can go to the bathroom again and doesn't need her stomach pumped every 2 weeks, and so on and so forth. That's like, you know, when she told us that story, we were all in silence on that call for the next like 2.5 minutes. There's nothing else to say. And that's, you know, so powerful. It's very special. It doesn't exist in the world in general, miracles like this.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. And you know, one of the biggest things for me is, well, before I say that, if you had to say to me, George, when I joined on the 24th of November last year, so I'm just behind you, so it's nearly 8 months. If you had to say to me that this is what I would be earning, my passive income, I would have said to you, not a chance. I know with network marketing, it takes quite a bit longer, probably double the time frame. This has happened in half the time frame. And you know what? It's because of a couple of things. It's number one, the company. The company is in integrity. The company is 19 years old. Number two, the product works. And we are seeing miracles unfold in front of our eyes every single day. And what I love about LifeWave is it goes back to how and why the network marketing industry was initially developed. It was initially developed to be product led, and it's all about a lot of people all doing a little. I think it's John Paul Getty. He made the comment in the 1940s. He was an oil tycoon. He said, I'd rather earn my fortunes of 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of my own efforts. And that's what network marketing is. It's not about a handful of people all doing a lot. It's about a lot of people all doing a little that turns into volume and movement and turnover and commissions, right? So, so what happened is, I think it's about the late 1990s, 2000s beginning, the network marketing industry took a bit of a wrong turn, because what they did was they a lot of bad actors, a lot of people dismissed the product, and it was all about the business and the rah 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 and the money and the da 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 da, and that put people off network marketing. It put people off network marketing. And what I love with the humbleness of LifeWave is it's gone back to the grassroots of why the industry was developed, and that is to be product driven and product led, with a product that works, and a product that, guys, come on, 133 patents. I mean, when I really think about that, that just blows my mind, because in my children's toy company, and I wanted to patent a product, guys, you're getting $1 million for a patent, $1 million. And this company's got 133. What we're sitting on right now, we're literally sitting on a gold mine, and this is ready to go through the roof. So I'm beyond excited.
Between you know, Javi always talks about the difference. between purpose-driven and ego-driven. And I've come across in this particular journey of people asking me to talk to other people, I've come across some, these chest-beating men who are, they are only, it's all about them, and they're not really interested. When they see that it can't be all about them, they're not interested in LifeWave. I've got two really very strong specific examples. However, Mike Hernandez on one call, he said, we really do have to feel sorry for the other networks. And what I always say a lot, some of you have heard me say this, some of you but really, the other networks, they're going uphill with the wind in their face. We're going downhill with the wind at our backs, because this product is just amazing. And if you haven't heard this is super interesting to hear. David Schmidt said this X39 is not the end, it's the beginning. And as far as I know, in October, he's going to be announcing a new product, which Javi has had to sign a non-disclosure agreement about. He has more details, but we can't get anything out of him other than it's going to be like X39 on steroids. So, this is so powerful to know that that's also going to be coming and available to us to work with other people.
Can't wait. Cannot wait. Okay, guys, we've hit the hour. I don't like to go past an hour. This has been... No. Start on an hour, finish on an hour. I've been programmed, George. I've been programmed for decades, okay?
Yeah, with the Spanish calls, I've had to say I've got to go after 2.5 hours because of all the questions. But anyways,
guys, it's lovely spending. No, it's amazing spending time with everybody. And I was just saying to Javi on the call, I said, it's a pity that we didn't have any guests on the call. And Javi says, everything happened for a reason. Obviously, every single person that was on the call tonight was meant to be on the call, and there were certain messages that we all needed to share with each other. So I hope you guys learned something tonight. I hope you got something out of it. And otherwise, from my side, we'll see you guys on the call. We've got Andy presenting with me tomorrow night, so get people on the call. We've got George on Wednesday. Then, guys, on Thursday, get your pens and papers out. I'm busy. I was working on the slides today. Got some really cool stuff to share with everybody. Getting started with a kaboom, with a bang. So
let me add one more thing. Chris's, for the guys who don't know, Chris's toolbox, the toolbox that he put together is absolutely incredible. Do use it. Mark told me that he's absolutely knocked out with the toolbox. He's on the phone now, so he can't say that to you. And I pointed him to the first, and I would tell everybody to, if you can, take the time and watch the first of the Jim Rohn videos. I've watched some of Darren Kidd. I don't know him so much, but Jim Rohn I've been listening to for a very long time. We were talking earlier with Javi. He listens to that Jim Rohn once a month, he says. He listens to it every month. This guy has got so much wisdom to share. It's on page 121. It's the first video on page 121.
Yep. Absolutely awesome. Thank you for lastminute.com there, George, because we were on the call and I added that in before sending it out within half an hour. So thank you for that.
I was amazed that you did the whole page, and I was like, this is going to be even more work for him, and I'm only going to tell him one, but he should probably put them all, and he put them all. So that's super. And Chris is like me. When I do a document, I want it to be absolutely perfect. So I used to do lots of them, but for that, I don't do so much anymore. I just talk.
Awesome. Thanks, George. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
From my side,
Thank
good
you.
night. God bless. Love you all. See you on the calls during the week.
Thank
Night,
you
everybody.
all. This is
Pleasure.
so amazing. I learned a lot. Thank you so much. Okay.
Pleasure, Loma.
Aloma, reach out to me in the group. Let's connect.
Thank you, everyone. Lovely.
Pleasure, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
Cheers,
Thanks.
Lord.
Good.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
To see you every time, looking better and better.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Night,
Mark.
night, everyone.
And
Bye. Bye.
Bill, Sandy,
Bye.
Lucinda, Gerda, Marina.
Not, guys, not.